Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the House of Bricks Live. If you've been following us for a while, you know we've recently launched a newsletter on Substack. It is filled with all of my failures over the last 30 years, which has fortunately led to some success, and that's through testing, failing, learning, and growing. Just got back from Miami, so if I look like I got some sun, I did. We were down there for our What the Truck event. As you know, I donated the House of Bricks, not me, our community, donated a Ford Raptor to a veteran. And it's not just about the Raptor being a vehicle, it's a vehicle to really create a hand up, not a handout for veterans. Some of the most qualified people in our country have served in the military in various ways, and they're looking for opportunities for investment, starting a business, business coaching, and most importantly, a tribe and a community to connect with. So things are going really well in the House of Bricks community. Our business advisory services helped a couple startup founders raise capital. They recently closed on. We've made some investments in other businesses. So made a lot of progress over the last 2.5 years and really starting to see that inflection point of growth. So all that hard work of laying a strong foundation brick by brick is really starting to come to fruition. But enough about me and the House of Bricks. I have a very special guest today who actually is a member of the House of Bricks community. She's the CEO and co-founder of Cleo Skin and Laser. And she is in Minnesota, where I recently moved back to Detroit from. But Amber spent over 20 years scaling multi-million-dollar divisions at Lifetime. I know myself personally, between my 4 boys and my wife, have probably spent close to 6 figures there. And it is a great fitness center. And loved being a member there. And really excited to have Amber McMillan on the House of Bricks Live. Amber, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Well, it's great to have you on. And so I've got to know you a little bit on some of our community calls. I know you're in the trenches in startup mode, wearing a lot of hats, but you've made a ton of progress, it seems, over the last 6 to 8 months. Things continue to get better. But before we get into your business, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so actually it is ironic. I am sitting in a treatment room right now, but it was 1 year ago today we opened this facility, this studio that I'm sitting in right now. So pretty amazing timing to come on and talk about this. And so I started out, I've spent my entire career in fitness, wellness, nutrition, private label supplementation with a couple of big fitness companies. Obviously, you mentioned Lifetime as the biggest one. And that's where I started my career 20 years ago in personal training, and graduated college with an exercise physiology degree, which wasn't really viewed as the top-notch degree to get. And then went on to even do better, to be a personal trainer. So my family, we kind of look back and laugh, because that first job is really what set the trajectory for my career, because it was with Lifetime back in Detroit, where you're at, which we'll talk about. I'm going to come full circle back to Michigan with Cleo, but started my career in the Detroit market with Lifetime back when they had only 30 clubs. So I was able, and I'm very grateful for those experiences. What Lifetime was 30 years ago and what it is today, it's pretty amazing to see where that company has gone from a evolution of the offerings to the brand. And to be able to learn in that environment was a definite gift for me. I couldn't do what I do now without a lot of those years at Lifetime. So very grateful.
Yeah, and just the transition and leap that you made, a lot of people want to do that, right? They work at a big company, they're learning a lot, but you're either a founder or an entrepreneur or you're not, right? So you've got to worry about, hey, am I going to make payroll next Friday? Like all these things that come with people think are the freedom. Oh, I want to own my own business, but there's a lot of myths in owning and starting your business. But what kind of fears and thoughts were like running through your mind as you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to leave this big company, go out on my own? What were some of the challenges you faced, fears?
I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, even at Lifetime and the other company I went to for 7 years on the West Coast. I loved building businesses. It was entrepreneurial though, right? So I got the benefit of having some resources and, a brand to work within and a company to work within. But that entrepreneurial spirit has always been within me. When it came time for me to really scratch that itch, which I've always had, I knew it had to be something I could get passionate about. So my first filter for deciding to do this was I needed to really care a lot about what I'm doing every day. The industry of fitness and wellness is addictive because when you grow up in it, it's at the core of who you are. It's in your DNA. You love helping people. Training clients from, 20 years ago is still a passion of mine. I don't do it for a living, but I knew I had to find something that could give me that same purpose in my day-to-day. And so my co-founder, who I ended up meeting along the way a couple of years ago, we built this concept in this skin side of the business, which on the surface you might go, ooh, entering into beauty, but it's amazing. This all falls into wellness, going from what you're doing with physiology in your kind of muscular structure, what you're eating, nutrition. The skin is a big piece of this and how you appear. And a lot of what we do is skin physiology. We are addressing root causes of aging skin. And I got really passionate about it. I woke up, my test for myself is when this concept started evolving, how many times do I wake up every day and obsess over it. And I was so excited to I had my day job, but I was like, God, I can't wait to work on thinking about how I could make a business in this beauty industry relative to kind of what's evolved now into Cleo Skin and Laser. But when I got to that point, I knew it was the right thing. I didn't make a quick, rash decision, like I'm going to leave my corporate job and put my family at risk. I really took time to let it marinate, to let it sink in, to really put the business model together. And I still knew in my heart of hearts, this is something I can really get passionate about and wake up and work on every day, which I think as an entrepreneur now, a year into this, holy shit, if you don't hear about it, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it.
Yeah, for sure. And so just to touch on a couple of things that you said, the skin really is a reflection of what's going on inside the body, your gut health, your diet, anxiety, stress, all of those things are reflected in the skin, but people focus on topical treatments thinking that that's the root cause. But I won't get into my limited knowledge of skincare, but I do know that. And I have dabbled a little bit in health and fitness type startups. We had a supplement company on Amazon. One of the most complicated professions is wellness care, not sick care, right? Which you're just writing prescriptions, but wellness care, because there's so many variables that go into it. You go into the gym, you want to build muscle, you lift weights. I mean, it's pretty uniform in how you can help people, but the skin is, I'm assuming, even more complex in being able to help and treat people. And it's the most important thing. You wear it on the outside, no one can see your liver, so people want to have good skin. They want to look good and look young and stay young. What are some of the ways that Cleo approaches it that's different than your competition?
Yeah. It is funny. I'm going to remember that one. No one can see your liver, but you can sure see your skin. It is so true. What you say is absolutely right. And it is the kind of groundwork that we built Cleo from, with this idea that we can make clinically validated treatments that have been really tucked away in dermatology offices and or out of reach for most consumers at a med spa, or left to mostly celebrities. We really looked at this technology and said, this is the gold standard for skincare. It's legitimate, it's clinically validated, studied. It is what dermatologists are using. So consider us an aesthetic dermatology business. really building and paving a way for next gen laser treatments to be accessible to everyone. And I get really excited about that because there's a mega industry out there in skincare that's promising you that your skin you can reverse aging of your skin with something that's in a jar or a serum. And while I'm not going to bash all jars and serums, but most topicals that are not medically kind of regulated topicals or skincare that you can buy that's very elevated, it's not going to address anything relative to aging skin outside of moisturizers, basically. So the root of what's happening inside our bodies that produces kind of skin conditions, as well as just aging in general. We are all going to lose collagen in our skin. It is going to start to age over time, no matter what. There are treatments that can delay this, that can reverse some of the skin concerns that people are facing, but it won't happen with just a topical. So I liken this, and why I got even more passionate about this, to the weight loss industry. I spent many years in the weight loss industry with building supplements and nutrition programs, and obviously at Lifetime doing it right, personal training, a registered dietitian, you got to eat right, and then supplementation, which I was a part of building private label supplements. And what we always combated as professionals is the quick fix and the magic pill and the next diet. And I know obviously there are some things now that are going to help with that are clinically validated, but it was so much confusing information. It was so much at that time, it wasn't TikTok, but other avenues for you to get confused, like which diet's right, should I take this pill, that pill? Skincare is the same way. If you think about it, there's so many choices and so many options, and we really boil it back down to what's the technology that truly should be the core of it. And energy-based treatments are the core gold standard that can really move markers in your skin. It can get into deep layers of your skin. It can change the physiology. It can produce younger cells in your skin to create more vibrant, youthful skin, address pigmentation, all the things that people struggle with. And so this isn't well known. It's something that we're continuing to get excited about because we know we can continue to build a business around really just the laser technology. We've taken out a lot of what's in typical med spas, which is 20 different services, a ton of confusion, and we've really distilled it down to treatments and technology that we know works and that we can really specialize in. We believe in specialization in this space because our providers can master their craft and they can truly be great every day at delivering the experience and do it day in and day out to get great results for our clients.
Yeah, and something you said there, there's a lot to unpack, but a couple things that stood out to me, and a challenge we faced in the supplement business is there's only so much text you can put on a bottle. Everyone said it was organic. Everyone said it's non-pasteurized. Like everyone made all the same claims, weight loss.
Yes.
So the biggest challenge we had and what you just went through was really educating the customer, because now on social media, now that we're talking about skincare, I'll probably get 50 ads on my Instagram when we're done with skincare, yes. But the mic's always hot. But the biggest challenge is really educating people in how you're different, yes. And competing with like what you said, the quick fix.
Right.
How do you position yourself in a way that you can educate customers? Because not everyone's going to talk to you on the phone. How do you do it in your advertising? How do you show that you're different?
I think the best trend that's happening right now is consumers expect results and they're more sophisticated than they've ever been. They're looking for science. I mean, I live in these treatment rooms. I see, the clients that come in here, they are expecting a certain level of education. They are, like I said, sophisticated. They want results-driven treatment. So timing is great for us because that's what the shift is happening, I think, in consumers relative to skincare. They are starting to understand that they really need to level up, what they're doing. In our business, we do have an opportunity to bring in kind of anyone that is willing to come try us for a small fee. We can do a laser facial for them. And these are no downtime facials. They take 15, 20 minutes. It's going to help with producing collagen, elastin, vaporizing dirt and bacteria in your pores. For a small amount, $80, they can come and try us. In that experience, we give them a ton of education. And so we do obviously do some advertising and social media. We're going to build up more of that education online, of course, but a lot of it happens in this room. If we can get them in here and get them to be, you know, have that experience with our providers, they're blown away that, you know, and one, it's an amazing education. It's a great experience. There's no downtime and it's very affordable, which is our goal, is really to create a business around efficacy, transparency, and accessibility.
I'm laughing because when that was the other thing I want to mention is just how you've narrowed down your services. Because you can get into some of these spas and like you're walking out, you might as well just leave them the keys to your car. You're like 40 grand in and they'll take like this vacuum and, you know, your skin, they'll be like, this is what your skin looks like. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, that's my skin. Yeah, you need this extra laser that's reserved. This one's only 5,000. I mean, you can go broke. So if someone's kind of wanting to like at least explore this, like what are some foundational things that they should do that is reasonably affordable?
Yeah, I mean, one of the basic starting points, obviously there is a skincare at home, you know, important part of this, which is about, and we won't get into the science of types of products, but cleansing, moisturizing, and then sunscreen, SPF. That'll be the number one recommendation we make for everybody, because sun will age your skin. But for those that are just thinking about it, or, you know, really trying, they're waking up one day and going, oh, I need to start thinking about my skin more, or there's something that's been nagging at them, is really to understand that there is a variety of lasers and there is a variety of treatments that live in these med spas. And med spa industry is extremely fragmented. 90% of it is, you know, onesie, twosie med spa clinics. So you get huge variety there. Some unregulated, potentially not clinically validated treatments. Always ask a lot of questions. What is the treatment? Is it approved by the FDA? Does it have clinical research behind it? Who are your providers that you're meeting with? What are their credentials? You really want to understand if someone, the modality or the type of treatment, and then the type of provider that's doing it and how often they do this treatment. You will find in some med spas that they do have a laser. Again, if you start to get into lasers, that could be an entire topic because it's a ton of different types of lasers and can be very confusing. But how often do they do treatments with that laser? It is all we do here. So these lasers are $150,000 to $250,000, and we fire them every day, all day. And our providers are very experienced at it. And so I would say anyone considering it, obviously we'd love to have you in Cleo if you're in the area, but ask a lot of questions, understand what the treatment is, and then who is doing the treatment.
Yeah, that was something, again, that people don't think about is who's actually operating the laser, right? How often do they do it? Because now you can try just with anything that is lucrative opportunity. You get people that are out there just for the money, right? Or they put a laser treatment machine in the back of their hair salon. It's like, hey, you want a haircut and treatment? I'm like, you know, I think I'm good. So people always say, if you needed brain surgery, are you going to look through the phone book to find the cheapest surgeon? Like, this is your skin. So, you know, it's a great investment that people can make. So just talking a little bit about your personal journey, again, kind of the test, fail, learn, grow model. So you had probably these ideas of what entrepreneurship would look like. You took the jump. You're now 12 months in. What have you seen as kind of your biggest failures? And it's okay to admit mistakes. That's all I talk about are all my mistakes. I have plenty of them. So, you know, what were some of the biggest, you know, could be mistakes or surprises that you faced, and then what did you learn from them that has kind of now led to the growth? Because I see the growth in you as an entrepreneur. I remember talking to you 6 months months ago versus where you are now, like even how you talk about the business, how you think. So I've seen you grow through this process a lot. And what were some of the biggest failures or aha moments you had, and what were your key learnings that you had from them?
One of the biggest, I would say, and when we were first starting out, is underestimating how much education we needed to do. Obviously, it's a big piece of our business, but the good thing that happened is we had a lot of people that wanted to just come try us, to try out our $80 laser facial. We definitely understood really quickly that we were not converting those people. They were happy with the experience, but there was so much more they needed to be educated on in order to get them onto the monthly routine or the monthly membership, which is a key part of this. The benefits of laser are cumulative, and you really need to compound the treatments in order to get the best results. It's not that you don't get a result out of one, but I think the term facial indicated, like most people, they go get a facial once, how often, a regular facial, like twice a year, maybe. This is different because we're dealing with physiology. It's like strength training. You don't go to the gym once, lift some weights, and you're like, I'm good.
Right.
It's cellular physiology. Building collagen is like strength training. To build it back, we need to be consistent and accumulate those effects over time. So that was, we would have people come in, they love us, leave us a great review, but we weren't able to kind of get them going into kind of the recurring business. So that was a key learning. I think the other thing is we didn't have any marketing. We really didn't when we started. I would go to pop-up. I would go around with my table and my laptop and some collateral, and I would go to fitness boutiques and anywhere I could be and really just like give away facials to try, which I don't think is a mistake as much. It's just we got smarter about what worked and what didn't. Obviously, when you go out and throw out a bunch of free, you're going to get a bunch of people to come in, but it wasn't all the right types of, consumers they really weren't ready to kind of be in this yet. I think they will over time, but I think that was kind of like a big time suck, not a huge return. We're now obviously a year in, like way smarter. We obviously have paid advertising with combinations of strategic partnerships that have worked really well for us. Key influencer driven has been huge in really aligning ourselves selectively with the right level of influencers. We definitely learned our way through that too on various influencers that have a lot of followers that got a lot of free treatments for nothing, but that's okay. Again, those are things you just got to learn your way through to see what works and what doesn't. I'd say the biggest win is we were able, as Brian DeRosa, my co-founder, and I, we were able to try everything. I mean, really, we had the chance in the beginning, like we could do a lot of different things, and really over the last year have been able to hone what is going to optimize and kind of drive this business, which will help us as we open up our third location in Michigan.
Can't wait for my free treatments. I'm an influencer. I do get real engagement. No, I'm kidding. Hey, if you found any influencers that are adding value, you're way ahead of the game of most people. If I could tell you the amount of money I've wasted over the last 3 years on different stuff. So, sorry about that. My phone didn't stop ringing. The question I was going to ask you, people always look back to at this like big moment or big decision that led to a big outcome, but are there any small steps you made that were surprisingly big outcomes at the end, like just some small decision, right?
In Cleo?
Yes.
Like in our business?
Not in life.
Yeah. I was like, well, we could go into that.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest priority for me is building the right culture and really taking care of our providers. Not to say all the other things aren't important, but I do believe, as I've interviewed more and more providers in this space, they are advanced practice or medical estheticians and laser techs. The ability for us to continue to find great talent and we haven't turned over our talent. They're still here a year later is extraordinarily rare in med spas. So when I go out, and I now have done hundreds of interviews in Minnesota, now even I think I screened 70 resumes in Michigan. It's very apparent to me that if we can continue just finding the great talent, they're all looking, and get them and keep them, it's going to be a core part of our success. And there is a plethora of them. They're not out there. They haven't had a home. And I liken this to lifetime in personal training, in just being a personal trainer in a gym versus working at Lifetime. Like being a provider in a med spa versus working at Cleo. I'm really passionate that we want to be the home for the best technicians. And if we can do that right, a lot of all the other outcomes tend to take care of themselves, and we'll get better at, bringing in more leads and whatnot. But taking care of our providers that take care of our clients in these treatment rooms is core. So I don't know if that answered your question fully, but that is my focus every day, at getting incrementally better at making sure we get the right talent.
Well, actually, what you said was very, very smart, and a lot of founders miss this early on, because you nailed the importance of culture and who you bring in. So early on in companies, people are just happy to get them to work for them, or and so recognizing the importance of culture right now. If you get the right people and the right team, especially early on in the business, like they're going to have to be flexible. Like you don't have, it's not a bank where, hey, you're going to be a teller, sit here from 9 to 4 and, exchange money with people. They have to wear a lot of hats. So getting the right people around you, and then especially in your business, it's customer facing, right? So the laser and the treatments are one thing, but what is the experience, and what makes a great experience is a great culture. So you're learning a lot as an entrepreneur, and hats off, to your founder, Brian, also for like giving you the capital to test different things, the autonomy he's given you to make decisions, test, fail, learn, grow, and really make that progress. So what do you see kind of as the next 24 months? What's the vision for Cleo? And if people do want to learn more about you, where should they go?
Yeah. So we are starting to scale. Our third location will be in Michigan, right down the street from you, and Birmingham, Michigan. And that'll open in September. And then we have a pipeline of about 10 locations to bring on over the next 24 months. And that is obviously a daunting thought, in the sense of going from 0 to 1 to 2 to 10. But I know this is the phase where we will truly be able to prove all of what we've learned in these 2 locations as proof of concept, that we can scale this type of service environment and this type of technology to great, extraordinary business opportunities, and building a brand like Cleo to be iconic, to really go across the nation and deliver this at a level that just hasn't been seen before, to be the laser to become the future of beauty. That is where we're going to stay focused. What I will say, as I talk about scaling locations, I always say we earn the right to scale. We earn it. We don't expect it. So even though there's capital, it's not the money that's sitting out there because we have the money. It's the earning every day, as day one mentality, to show up every day and earn our right to get to the next location, to get to the 10, which is what I wake up super passionate about every day. It's not easy. I think I probably tell you all the things that are not so easy, and all the late nights of pulling your hair out, and if clients don't need booked, the toilet's broke. So there's a lot of different hats to wear, but that there's an exciting opportunity here in building this brand, but we will earn our right to do that. Everything is going very well, and I think if you're in Minnesota, I'd love to see you. Obviously, we're in Maple Grove and Edina. You can go to our website, cleoskinandlaser.com. We have everything on there, including pricing, which you will find is rare in this space, to actually be able to see a price for a treatment. But price transparency is one of our core elements as well, in really trying to be a business that is all about what today's consumer expects, and being able to go online, book online, see the price online, and get all your questions answered without salespeople and a big contract. We are a place that we hope you can come and check us out and put some proof behind what I'm saying.
And so I'm going to make sure this was probably the quote of the month, maybe longer, but I don't think I've ever heard a founder say this. It's probably one of the wisest things I've heard from an early stage founder, which is earning the right to scale. And so we'll make sure we're highlighting that it's not an expectation, right? You have to earn it. And it's very important to have that mindset, because everything's going well until it's not. And
right.
you tend up, hey, we were able to get 1 location, let's make it 2. We did 2, let's make it 4. But people don't realize how thin that spreads the team. And you may be able to run your location in a certain way, but how do you replicate yourself? And how do you do that scale? Then how do you manage it? So earning your right to scale is something a lot of people don't think about, but they should, because that's how you get over your ski tips, and all of a sudden you go from profitability to losing money very quickly. And then you have multiple locations, and how do we scale that back? So people, culture, sounds like you're building a great team there. Definitely looking forward to having you have an office here in Birmingham. There's plenty of clientele that love to spend lots of money on their skin and all kinds of healthcare services. And I love, your understanding and background as well in the fitness and nutrition space, because people don't really take nutrition into account for what their skin may or may not look like. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on House of Bricks Live, being a member of the House of Bricks community. And for everyone that's listening, if you're not subscribing to our newsletter, please do. It's on Substack. I put all kinds of great information on there, behind the scenes content. And again, Amber, thanks for joining, and best of luck to you and Cleo.
Thank you. Appreciate it.